Street Fighter League Season 3 continues. We've already had our undercard match, which was Mr. Crimson versus Luffy, and now we're getting to the main event. Drop the microphone. No? All right, I thought I had the Bruce Buffer power. I thought I had the Bruce Buffer power. I was gonna do the announcement, but I guess not. Problem X versus Infectious. Problem X is an Evo champion. Honestly, I feel like he's one of the best players in the world at this point, even with current situation. I feel like he's one of the best players in the world. Sure. One of the most adaptable, has a lot of tech at his disposal, can play so many different characters. What are your thoughts on Problem X?
This is an opinion that wasn't formed by my own understanding of how he plays. Instead, it was actually from a conversation I had with jammers back in Capcom Cup 2019, even with Logan Sama as well. Is they always talk about Problem X as being the brightest minds of Street Fighter V. The way he looks at the game from his perspective is completely different from the other pro players that they've talked about. He just understands the mechanics so well, and it gives him the upper edge in terms of downloading the matchup and downloading other players too. I mean, a lot of that can be said for the other players and whatnot, but I feel like Jammers, just the way he broke it down, he's like, yeah, when he's faced off with an issue, he understands within seconds how to beat that on the fly, which is a great skill to have, a great trait to have as a player. He doesn't even let those kind of problems interfere between sets. He'll just automatically adjust to it because he's seen that kind of situation so many times. He knows how to process it. It's very, very similar. It's not just instinct, it's just that experience that he's had over the years, and he's refined it. He knows how to study. That's very important. You have to understand how to study for something like Street Fighter V. You have to understand the mechanics very well, 1, and then you have to understand your character, 2. Then you have to understand your player that you're going up against, number 3. So Problem X, again, a very, very solid player overall. Infectious, on the other hand, I feel like we only started seeing him back in 2018 is really started to make a big name for himself with the switch up to Zeku.
Yeah, Zeku is a character we feel like we're going to see a lot this season anyway, considering how strong he is.
Right.
However, let's get some words from Problem X.
This season on Street Fighter League, I'm the team captain for Team Dynamite, and my teammates are Smug and NuckleDu. I chose NuckleDu for my team because he has a roster of characters. He's very versatile. He is a previous Capcom Cup champion who maintains a high level of gameplay throughout, all tournaments. He's also been on Street Fighter League a number of times, so he knows exactly how it works and what it takes to get to the finals and win. I chose Smug for a similar sort of reason. He has character versatility between G and Balrog, and because Smug, just like NuckleDu, we're all friends. We're all have good morale, and we've played against each other numerous times. So Smug will bring a nice atmosphere as well as his skill to the team and help it to be fun and entertaining. It's just going to be a great show to watch. Today my opponent is Infectious. He is a very strong player, a very methodical player. You never know sort of what kind of tactic or what to expect on the day. Always come up with something new, very innovative. So I'll be watching carefully, seeing the decisions that are made, the characters that are picked, and hopefully try and gather sort of matchup preferences and etc. But my strategy here is more for data collection.
Problem X giving us some insight on his team. He is the captain. On the other side of this main card event, we have Infectious. Infectious just made an amazing splash at Evo just recently, showing up, showing out, and being one of the most dominant players, standing up to be one of the most dominant players, especially with Zeku, in the larger Street Fighter V world. What are some of your thoughts on Infectious before we get into this interview?
One of my biggest concerns, of course, he's an amazing Zeku player. I want to know who he has as a backup just in case. Of course, he wasn't always a Zeku player because he didn't come out until later. So that's what's really on my mind for this week. I don't even know if we're going to see that in the exhibition, but I'm really concerned as to what secondary he's going to bring to the table if he is the target of the ban.
Well, that's a very good point that you bring up there. Well, without further ado, let's get some words, some very calm, cool, collected, straight-faced words from Infectious.
Problem X is a Evo champion, one of the best players in the world. He's proven it time and time again. So it's always good to have an opportunity to play in an exhibition against somebody of his caliber. I think winning it will set the tone going into the event, and the winner will have bragging rights essentially. I think I'm going to stick to my game. Got a plan of how to play and how to counter his play style. and see how it goes.
Infectious is so strong, and some of his gameplay and where it comes from is playing a player like Problem X.
Okay, so that's a very specific matchup too, and he mentioned that in an interview that he's very familiar with Problem X, and it comes down to whether or not the opponent is bluffing. So now my other concern, initially it was the ban pick. I want to know how he's going to adapt to someone he's never played before. I mean, there's only very few players in this roster that he's had little experience with. So that's going to be very interesting to see how that works out, not only in the 2 out of 3, but also in the double round robin when it comes to the turnaround. It's like, all right, well, I might have lost to player X, Y, or Z. Now what am I going to do with my main character? Or if I get banned, how am I going to approach this player without knowing enough information or even having the experience against them? So maybe with his teammates, he could provide, they can provide some sort of like examples as to how to hit certain matchups up. But I feel like those other two, Hot Dog and Xian, are both character specialists. So it's going to be very hard to think about.
Oh, that is definitely true. Well, without further ado, let's get into it. Once again, this is best of 7. That means first to 4 wins, and this is exactly what I was touching on. He goes and pulls out the Abigail on the side of Problem X. Infectious, staying tried and true to that Zeku. Bars. I just realized that rhyme. I just had to throw that in there. I didn't know if he was going to catch it. Just had to do it for myself.
I also thought that was a picture of Infectious, but that is a live. I'm 0 for 2 so far.
Look, man, my man Barry, I can't even tell if he's breathing right now.
The only way I knew it was a video was because the reflection of his glasses. There was like different shades of the loading screen. Look, he hasn't moved. Okay, I'm watching the gameplay now, I promise. No, I'm not.
But this is what I was talking about though. Problem X can actually pull out almost any character and make it viable. Infectious, you can see it right there, rank 81. Rank 55 on the side of Problem X, I should see.
Yo, you see how late that hit in the conversion? Either way, he was 100% ready for it. Big skill parry. Man, you got the juggle off of that?
What? I mean, not a lot of damage. I like that. You have to lay there or else you might get guard broken, bro. Tries to walk up to get the tech. Wow, standing roundhouse.
Wasting away at the V-trigger, but a good amount of damage taken out so far from Infectious. Or against Infectious, excuse me.
Double medium punch, still gets the Abigail punch. The EX.
Don't tell me this comeback's gonna happen. He runs into the fierce.
Oh wow, tries to go for the reset. Into throw, did not work out. Gets the sweep. Whoa. Okay, that was probably gonna chip out anyway, so he just did it raw, but man, that was still scary. I don't like to make that bet versus Abigail. I never like to make that, unless it's literally like a fingernail's worth of life, a very small fingernail worth of life. I'm not doing it. I'm terrified.
Because of the higher stamina that he has compared to the rest of the cast. It makes sense. What I thought Infectious was gonna find a way to like sweep into V-trigger, extend the combo, or extend the block string and then go into the critical outright. That would have been a safe choice.
Right now, you can tell Infectious is kind of on the defense right now, on the ropes. Gets the crush.
What do you mean? Oh, that was sick.
What do you mean?
That was sick. Because you see a sweep, but then the crush counter happens. The character spins around like, what, nani? Like, what do you mean?
All right, this is dangerous. That was definitely command throw. So you know that's a tendency thing. I knew command throw was coming, and Infectious knew command throw was coming.
Oh. Those ambiguous Bushin flip setups from Infectious. He's like an innovator of that. I feel like no other Zeku player utilizes old Zeku like that.
Just walking in and out of that range where Abigail can swing, but nothing's connecting. Infectious slowly but surely fighting his way out of this corner.
The pressure. Forward throw, backs away ever so slightly. Continues the offensive onslaught. V-trigger is undead.
No. Uh-oh.
Forward buffer.
And gonna get the charge.
Good amount of damage. Oh, you can't take any more.
What if he had done CA? That would have been sick. It's a dead heat? Oh, man.
I don't even know what that means.
It's tied. It's tied. That's what it is. That's what it means. What? I'm not making it up. I swear that's what it means. I swear that's what it means.
Someone let me know.
Oh.
Ooh. You know how we talked about the match between the birds, Bigbird and Angrybird, in terms of how often young Zeku is played and how important it is to kind of like set things up with Ram? I feel like Infectious does that really well. He is the prime example of a solid old Zeku player. And being able to mix it up into young Zeku as well, the offensive pressure is pretty good. Oh boy.
Abigail!
I spoke too soon, Steve.
Oh man. I like the jump back right there because I was thinking the command throw was coming anyway. Danger zone. Danger zone.
V-trigger on deck for Zeku as well. Any sort of sweep activation can do it. In fact, he could set himself up for another chip victory.
Yeah, he could.
Oh, for sure, without a doubt now.
Annoying. Infectious staying calm. Still hasn't moved from that spot. Somebody check his breathing. Oh, that's not gonna hit, is it? Oh, what, did he try to armor through? What happened?
I think he tried to armor through. Yeah, I was thinking about that as well. I was like, how come he isn't going into the chip sooner? I think because of the fact that Abigail has a parry, could possibly interrupt. Maybe that was a factor, but either way, Infectious, you can't even tell he won. I mean, if you were looking at his face and his demeanor,
bro, we need to get that blown up. I actually can't tell if he's moving or not. Like
it's like he's sitting in his study watching a movie. That's what it is.
I can see the reflection off his glasses moving.
Yeah, he's just
well, I
watching
know
a
that's
movie.
not a picture because you know you can see the game that he's playing.
He's just sitting there hanging out. I really can look.
I wonder if other people run in there and think he's okay. Oh my God! Oh, dude, you got to start moving, man. I thought you were dead. I didn't know what was. I just heard noises coming out of here. You weren't moving or anything.
Bet he sleeps with his eyes open.
Oh, bro, that'd be creepy, man. You cannot not move and then sleep with your eyes open. You walk. Oh, hey man, you gotta do something about that. Put something over, put a pillow or something.
All jokes aside, he's actually a really chill dude. When I met him for the first time at Capcom Cup, I complimented his gameplay. He's like, oh thanks, man. He's a real lively person. He's like, oh man, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. He's pretty cool. He's a pretty chill dude.
That's because games are all business. That's why my man ain't blinking. He's at the job right now.
He's not even gonna high five legends.
He ain't high five legends, bro. Had the best players in the world around him. He's like, yo, don't stick out your hand for me.
Get them hands out of my face. It's so funny to watch this game. I can't get over it. Forward throw, start things out. Fierce into the Bushin flip. Yes, good counter there from Problem X using that the parry.
Okay. Oh no, you better be careful. Sweep. Crouching medium punch. Yeah, that's a really scary move. I know you mentioned earlier in the preseason, like, yo, double crouching medium punch, you better not move. Back and forth. Infectious, upper game.
Oh!
Okay, activate. This is not good. CA is getting dangerously close right now.
Oh, barely
done.
missed
No,
time to me.
still alive. Side sweep to the V-trigger.
V-trigger activation. Stuck in this corner. Problem X only can take a couple more throws. Getting closer to that critical art. Oh, that could have been chip damage.
Chip out now. Oh, and the raw sweep.
Oh no, that was a big punish.
Full CA. Full CA still available. That means he's gonna save this for the next round, and this is looking good for Infectious. Ugh,
Yo.
crush. Do it again.
Look at the damage.
Oh, wow, I
Trying to
can't
get
believe the
cheeky.
jump M didn't hit. His hitbox definitely changes, unless they changed that in just recent patches. Could have swore that jump medium was gonna hit on cross up.
Yeah, I think it's just the ender of the command dash or the command run into the overhead was just pushing him a little bit too far.
Ooh, off the wall.
Crumple.
Oh my God, that was actually cheap. That was cross up. It was on the same side.
It was cross up, 100%. That is a dirty setup. Oh, but it doesn't matter. Problem X responds with the critical art. He's fine. He is at a deficit, but he'll be all right.
I'm actually stealing all right now.
Oh, that was sick though. You see that? It said cross up on the screen. I promise you.
Oh, that was so good. Side switch with the V trigger too.
Oh. What do you mean? I'm out of here.
God.
I'm out of here, Steve. I'm out of here. I'm out of here. I'm out of here. I'm out of here. That was sick. That was sick. I'm out. I'm out.
Who reacts like that?
This guy's a robot. This guy's a cheating robot.
What?
He's a robot. This guy's a robot, Steve. He's a robot. Who does that? I gotta keep 6 feet apart.
My man's not moving. Nothing happened.
I gotta
to him.
keep 6 feet apart, Steve.
My man is definitely over there sock pooping. He is
almost-
peeing on himself, man. I don't know how he's not. This dude needs to be a NASCAR driver. How is he doing it? No emotion whatsoever.
I almost flipped the table. I almost dropped my mic, flipped the table. I had to get up. I had to get up and walk.
Bro, all I know is my man didn't even flinch. He's like, yep, got him.
Another day at the office.
Back to the game.
I'll be in my study.
Hey man, turn on some lights or something, bro. Cause you be scaring me. You just sitting there playing the game all quiet. I can't tell if you're breathing or not. You gotta.
Steve, how did he do that?
I don't know. Like, first off, the bravery it took. My man should also be a firefighter because he just walked straight into hell right there. He's like, yeah, I got this giant wall of a person. Just let me walk up and just toss him.
Jeez. This has to be a robot. Whew.
Man, that was
2 games
actually
straight.
crazy. Man, these main events. Yes.
What? Main events, colon. Yes.
Yeah. The smile on my face is directly indicated what's happening because of these matches. This is great.
I want to copy paste your smile onto Infectious' picture there. Or I guess live video feed. Who knows? I can't tell what it is anymore.
I can't believe that crossed up in the corner.
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't believe it.
Oh yeah. It said it. I wouldn't lie to you, Steve. Huge turnaround from Problem X right now. Look at the life lead, the corner pressure. Doesn't even need to command guys. Just needs one more hit. A nice crouching light kick. Easy does it.
I like the pace. I like the pace now.
Remember how we prefaced this with he could adapt to any sort of situation. Given 2 games, I think it's about time for Problem X to really step up to the plate. And I think he might just do so. Look at the pace that he's setting against Infectious now. A lot more forward movement and getting him closer to the corner than him.
I think that's one of the things that happens. And remember, I said myself that he could pull out a lot of characters. But now this is when you're like, well, look. It feels like he might have a read on the situation. Even though Problem X is up around right now, you need to be careful. Oh, wow, that was sick.
Just wide swinging.
Oh, wow,
Oh,
long
yeah.
distance crush.
Break the sign. Oh, okay. Actually turn him into a sign. Boom.
Put him in the ceiling fan. The speed bag test. Oh. Overhead. Wait a minute. One on the board. Here comes Problem X.
Abigail wins.
All right, so he's slowly adapting. Wasn't phased too much from the first 2 games. A lot of information digested for the likes of Problem X. Infectious showing 0 signs of life as usual. He's gonna be just fine. He's just big showing.
You know, one of the things I always question about Street Fighter V is the referencing to other characters. This has nothing to do with the fighting part. But when Abigail wins, he says, all your running moves look familiar. I could have swore I've seen them somewhere before. He's just talking about Guy.
Yep.
That's sick, because they're from Final Fight. That's godlike. All right, that was really cool. I like when they do stuff like that. That's one of my favorite things in the world.
Who was the first boss in? Wait a minute. What?
Well, Vicious, you talked about many a time before what happens when your character gets put on blast. You got to pull out a secondary. This dude Infectious, they just flipped the image around. That's the same thing. But no, he has a kin apparently, or we're about to see if he has a kin going up against Problem X's Abigail.
He had to have started off with Ken in his inception into Street Fighter V.
Had to, huh? Had to.
I mean, Zeku wasn't out in the beginning.
What did he play Ryu? Good defense already.
And I mean, like, I don't know if I like the switch up to Ken, to be honest with you. I don't know what he provides to kind of improve any of his rough matchups, or Zeku's rough matchups.
Fireball. I think Fireball is one of those things that kind of slows down the pace in favor of Shoto, especially in this matchup, because you still have to parry or go out of your way to deflect. I also think that's one of the reasons that Problem X is backing up. Because he doesn't want to have to deal with a Dragon Punch, but he also wants to give an opportunity to kind of, get away from those fireballs as well.
I'm kind of thinking of it this way. With old Zeku, you can kind of use the Gram as sort of a fireball as well, and he also has an uppercut, but we're seeing Ken do the work just fine. Critical art.
Extended Nightshade. Still alive.
What?
Oh, that's what he says when he does his super move, Jinrai Kiku Kaku. He says that's what he
Jinrai
says.
Simple Kyak?
Yeah, that's what he says. But that's not what that is. It just looks like it. He actually still just has that move. So You know, that's another.
I like the different variations over time in like different Street Fighter games. Even in the Versus series, when they still give him that kick super, it's so cool.
Yo, you can mash it in the Versus games, and it is the coolest thing in the world. This has nothing to do with what we're watching right now, but it's still good conversation. All right, here we go. Neutral jump. I thought you said he didn't have another character, Vicious. This dude looks like he's doing fine. The cross-cut DP. Neutral jump again. I would have thrown. Oh, you would have been in the corner.
I said I didn't know, Steve. Okay.
I said I didn't know, Steve. Wow.
Okay. Great conversion.
Just harassing. Great V reversal.
Top counter hit as well. Wasn't confident in the hit though. Here comes Problem X once more, keeping me in the corner. The jump out. That could have been either. It could have been either like an EX uppercut, a normal. You know. They jumping on the other side. That is.
Texlu Dynamite. That's what that is. That's what it is. I'm telling you right now, that's that move. Big jump in. Problem X in trouble once again. The can switch has definitely helped him out, and I'm still surprised. And it's not like he's doing anything crazy, but his competency with this can to deal with Abigail is definitely surprising.
I gotta say, he's getting a lot of mileage off of this jump fierce, taking advantage of the stature of Abigail, being so high up there and keeping it ambiguous whether or not he's gonna hit in front or back. I think that's, I mean, it's a simple strategy, but it's working out pretty well for Infectious, I gotta say. Can't he do that with Zeku?
I mean, I don't think he can, but the thing is, you spoke about like the differences in the characters, right? He was like, well, you know, old man Zeku can do this, and I was like,
grams and uppercuts.
But see, that's the difference, though. You have to stay young, and you don't want that crappy foot speed going up against Abigail. You can control the pacing, and you do have a little bit better on the jump ins, but what happens after that? What happens if you do get knocked down, and then you don't have space to switch to young Zeku? That's probably going to be the round until you get a combo.
I think that's fine. Like, if you get knocked down as old Zeku, you have access to a reversal.
No, that's definitely true. He definitely can back you up. But if he baits it out, like, I still...
Same with Ken, right? That's the same thing. He doesn't have a 3-frame normal. He does have Tatsu, whatever. He has a special move that's 3 frames. If he does an EX uppercut, you're dead. Straight up. It's hard. It's hard. It's
hard no matter what.
Yeah, I'm trying to think
it's
about
still
it.
A guess. It's still a guess going back and forth. But I also feel like, but that's why the fireball is better. You get EX fireball, you still get control of the screen, and Abigail still has to pay attention to it. That Graham has a lot more startup. On top of that, you're playing a lot further back. You don't have to worry about a jump in coming after it. You don't have to worry about him following behind it. It's just that.
We have a lot to think about before this season.
Bro, it's cool. That's why it's the preseason. They're doing homework, we're doing homework. Wow,
bro. Running out, mash it out. He is getting so much off
He
of
is
his
milking the jump in and selling it in a convenience store. Wait, do they still deliver it to the doorstops over there? I'm not sure.
Yeah, they definitely do. 100%. It comes with the package now. Get a jump, get a free fierce.
Got it.
It's definitely the, but wait, there's more kind of deal.
Yo, set point right here for Infectious with the kid. You actually got me.
You just got to call it now, though. It's a limited time only.
Got it.
20 years from now, it's still going to be a limited time only. Those information, that's how they get you.
And this is what I'm talking about. Look at how Abigail is backing up. Look at how Problem X is respecting that space. Walking forward and ducking because he does not want to eat any of those fireballs. So now that gives Ken a little more space to work. We saw earlier he was blocking those V skills just to get in, and now there's nothing but defense on the side of Problem X. Look at this offense from Infectious.
I'm waiting for a parry to come through. That's going to be one of those issues where Problem X is like, all right, you're going to jump in on me. Oh, wait, the anti-air. I don't need no parry.
Install this man into the ceiling.
Install him into the ceiling? Home renovations?
Big jump in. Uh-oh. Not dead, but this is dangerous right now. No trigger on deck, but Infectious does. Fireball, start, gets the knockdown because of the power of the jump heavy punch. Those jump ins. Problem X can't do anything about it. The shimmy full CA, you know what time it is. Oh, he dropped it. Dude, Problem X still alive. Wow. I was wondering. I was like, raw Tatsu?
I don't know if that works.
See, look, it's a dead heat. The rounds are tied. That's what it means. I'm telling you right now.
Someone Google this, please. I don't believe you.
I know you're a little young, Vicious, but that I guarantee you, that's what it means. Standing heavy punch, all right.
Lies and slander, all right. I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding. Crouch strong to really test out Infectious. Playing in that range where he either wants to kind of like maybe whiff punish or even throw fireballs. I think mostly throw fireballs, right? Big cross cut DP. Back throw, toying with him. Man, he's getting so much out of these jump fierces. I keep thinking maybe he could probably hit.
Okay. Oh, wait a minute. Gets the knockdown.
Ooh.
Man, I think people like don't like give Ken's D-skill proper notice, man. It's so good to me. Smack him on the back, that a boy.
Stuck in this corner. Command that.
Neutral jump.
No.
That one's gonna hit. Not dead though.
Does have trigger as well.
Don't block anything. Sweep. And activate, that's why my man's jumping. Wow. Wow.
That's why my man's jumping.
I figured it out. As soon as I saw it, I'm like, oh, that's why he's jumping. He doesn't want to have to worry about the V-trigger activation. It literally happened right in front of, if you saw my face, I was like.
Did you see that? Infectious looked immediately into the camera. He was staring into your soul. It's like, what did you say, Steve? I can break the fourth wall. I can hear you. Look at it. Oh, there's a smile. They smile at you. Oh, is that Tasty Steve?
Because the competition is done. The competition is done now. Steve? And now he can return the flow of emotion to his body. What happens is the blood flow stops to his face, so he can't smile. It's all going to his brain. He's trying to win. But the minute it's done, flow returns regularly to the body. He can smile again. The bone structure is up for show. Shout outs to my boy Infectious, taking it over Problem X with the Ken.
Oh boy, I think it's definitely one of those things where he's had so much experience against Problem X that he was comfortable in picking Ken. Now I'm kind of curious, is like, does he have a secondary for each and every one of these players? Does he have a specific character for that, for these matchups? That's pretty cool if he does.
I would love to hear more, and we have words from Infectious.
Both kind of got an understanding of how each other play and the characters that we play. So an important part of the start of the set was making a decision based on which character to pick. So we had Zeku and Abigail, which is okay matchup. And then once I got the lead, I had an advantage because I had Ken for Abigail, which is something which I've played quite a lot and had success in. Because I was up to 2 games, I thought it was an opportunity to use an alternative character and make sure that my theories would play out as I thought they would. It was good. A good win heading into Street Fighter League. Good to be able to see alternative characters and kind of the different strategies that he and myself can use in a matchup. So it was really good to get things started.
Infectious takes it. Those were the words from the winner, and that Ken switch was perfect. So good. I just think for me that adds another element to what Street Fighter League is. He is on a team. This actually kind of puts to rest some of the questions that we have. We're figuring out the mystery of Street Fighter League, and you guys are joining us. We're knowing what character is going to be played by who. Some of these guys might have some backups. I cannot wait to get further into the season to see more. But the winner is Infectious, and he will be joining us on Street Fighter League along with Problem X, and I honestly cannot wait to see it.
Yeah, no, I think the thing about that matchup in particular, again, before we even went into the interview, we talked about Infectious just being absolutely comfortable in regards to him facing off against Problem X. Him switching, I think this is very important. We talked about this a little bit off stream. I think it's important that if you have that lead, you kind of want to test the waters with your secondary character anyway. 1, to get more information out of your opponent. 2, to get them used to the rhythm of a different character so that when you go back to your main, you have that slight advantage just in case you kind of throw them off their own rhythm, right? So I think it's very important to utilize those wins to your advantage. I don't know how it's going to work out in a 2 out of 3 set, but it's definitely going to be something that's going to be considered in a double round robin format. Like, say you lost the first set. Now you're going to come in with the secondary and be like, all right, well, I got to understand how I lost and maybe throw them off their game with one of my other characters under my belt. So I'm still curious as to who Infectious might have other than Ken. Maybe that's a Problem X specific character. Who knows?
Or maybe Problem X already has an answer and he just didn't want to show his cards too early.
Just Bison.
right? That is
just a rough
true.
guess.
Infectious did go in with his main character, right? But he had to switch to get the W. That was Problem X's one of his side characters. That was one of the ground level thugs that he sent at you, and it was still very decent. It definitely would have took out a lot of these other players just in the world of the fighting game community, just being real. But we still have more off-season action. But let's talk a little bit, before we get out of here, let's talk a little bit about these last matchups that we had today. We did see Mr. Crimson go up against Luffy. A surprise result on that end as well. The Luffy versus Crimson definitely kind of shook up my brain a little bit because we had Mika versus Dawson, which is what we expected, but
not in the fashion of 4-0.
Not in the 4-0 fashion. You're definitely right.
We haven't seen that many 4-0s since like a few weeks back where we saw like a Hot Dog versus, I think it was Oil King from that happening, and then NL versus John Ding. That was literally in that same episode where we saw our first couple of 4-0s. That was like the quickest episode we ever had. But I never thought I'd see a 4-0 in the likes of Mr. Crimson and Luffy, honestly.
Dude, they're two world-class talent acts here, playing in an exhibition to kind of get scouted, getting noticed for Street Fighter League. I mean, obviously they're already noticed, but I mean, if they want a chance, an opportunity, this is the way that you do that. Fine, you know, display on both sides. It just so happened that Mr. Crimson victory was 4-0 and definitely looked kind of one-sided on the side of Mr. Crimson. Right after that, we had Problem X go up against Infectious with some crazy call-outs. I mean, it's been so good. The exhibition matches have been so good that it's making me more excited for the main season. And the Ken switch was a topic of the interview. One of our thoughts, also one of the main, perplexing questions for Street Fighter League was, does Infectious have another character? That matchup gave us our answer. Do you feel like Infectious is in a good spot heading into Street Fighter League Season 3?
Okay, so he did win against Problem X 4-1. But all things considered, that wasn't Problem X's main character. That's a pretty big statement. Don't get me wrong, I'm not taking away from the victory. I'm also not taking away from how effective Problem X can be with the likes of Abigail. I feel like it'd be a whole different story if you were to throw in Bison versus Ken or a Bison versus Zeku. So I'm kind of concerned either way for Infectious still. Like, sure, we have the Ken pick, but it's probably a Problem X specific. It opens the doors to so many other questions like, is that specifically for Problem X? Does he have any more characters for other players that he might run into? Who knows? It's gonna be all speculation from here, but it's still exciting nonetheless.
I have a question, man. What's your problem with Infectious, man? He just showed you he has a Ken. We know that he's good. Why are you constantly questioning this guy? He's ridiculous already. What does he have to do to impress you, Vicious? What does he have to do?
Beat the rest of the sharks in the pool.
Oh.